This show is brought to you by Nice Mug. Nice Mug is the only mug made entirely out of ice. For more information, go to nicemug.com and enter the coupon code SAUNA for 10% off your entire purchase.
Hey everybody, this is Glenn of Sauna Times, and welcome to another episode of Sauna Talk. And this podcast about sauna, and often recorded on the sauna bench. And this episode, we have two gentlemen joining us, native Finlanders, Risto Sivula and Jouko Sipala. And forgive me for a terrible accent, but that's the way it is. It's Americanization of these two guys' names. But these two gentlemen will be undertaking a celebration for the centennial year of Finland's independence. And what better way to do it than traveling North America, United States, in a mobile sauna. And these guys will be bringing the mobile wood-burning sauna around to many communities around the United States, just strategically to different towns where there is often, a Finnish presence, a Finnish chamber or Finnish community, and they're working in coordination with these local communities to host this sauna as a celebration for 100 years of independence. We had a great visit on the bench. You'll hear it. I'm excited for you to check it out and learn more about this traveling sauna and all these other nuances that we speak about. And what I am overjoyed about is the commonality of sauna, whether you're in Finland or in Minnesota or in your own backyard, be it in Seattle or in the mountains of Colorado, or maybe in rural place in California somewhere in your own backyard sauna or your own authentic sauna. There's some universalities that we speak about, which was really, really neat. Like, for example, these guys in the traveling sauna will be having a simple garden hose shower, and simple is better. Could not agree more. What better way to cool down between sauna rounds than cold water, rinse, and just chilling out. And there's a couple of asks. Risto and Jouko are asking for you guys to help name this sauna, this traveling sauna. So let us know on that. You'll hear that. And heck, I won't belabor this intro any further than what a pleasure it is to meet these guys. I share the traveling sauna passion, and these guys bring in the sauna on the road. I'm gonna cruise out on the road with these guys in different spots. So wherever you may be listening, please check the link here, the website, saunatimes.com. You'll see the map where these guys are going to be, and I hope you get to introduce yourself to them. And if you do, bring them a beer, or maybe just a thank you for their great generous effort about bringing a mobile sauna around to North America. So without further ado, please welcome Risto and Jouko to Sauna Talk. Okay, well, here we are. We're in the sauna, and I'm sitting with
Jouko Sipala, or Jouko, as it's betterly known.
Right on. So, Jouko, you've lived in Minnesota for how long now?
It's on and off for about 25 years.
25 years. And what brought you here initially?
I was an exchange student in a small town up north.
Whereabouts?
In Eagle Bend, Minnesota, which is a great geography question.
Yeah.
It's by Alexandria. Then I came back to go to college, and then the old boy meets girl story.
Got you met a Minnesota girl.
That I did.
Yeah. Welcome. Well, that's great. What a way to settle your roots in Minnesota, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
right on. And over to my right, I'm sitting with
Risto Sivula.
And you're obviously not a native Minnesotan with an accent like that.
I am not, but I have dual citizenship, so I think I can call myself a Minnesotan now.
Right on. And how long have you been in our wonderful state?
Oh, since 1993. So what is that? 23 years.
Yeah, 23.
There you
go. And what brought you here?
Well, kind of the similar story as with Mr. Sipala over there, except that I skipped the exchange student part.
But the girl part is a common element?
The girl part is a common element, yes.
And the big question is, do the girls know and like each other?
They've met.
They met.
Yeah.
We live on the other side of town.
Yeah.
So I live out west, and Risto lives
St. Paul.
in St. Paul. So.
Right on. Okay, so raise your hand of who wants to field this question. And the question is how did this idea of the traveling sauna begin? And
Okay,
we'll go to
looks
Risto.
like Jouko raised his hand and pointed me. So the idea is actually was hatched at the Finnish embassy in Washington D.C. about a year ago, and they floated this idea because 2017 is the centennial year of Finland's independence.
That's right. Let's do a little bit of political. As I set the computer outside, if I could, Risto, not to interrupt you, but could you give us just a quick little background of Finnish history and independence? Just for context, like 100 years.
Oh man, you want to?
Okay, we're gonna assign your partner.
So you want me to tell 100 years of history in what 100 seconds or what?
Yes. Monty Python style, please.
Independence from who and what?
Oh, okay. So I guess Finland is one of the Nordic countries, not part of Scandinavia, but one of the Nordic countries. And Finland was part of Sweden until 1805. And then there was a little skirmish between Sweden and Russia. And then things happened and Finland moved to the right, to the east a little bit. And then 1917, there was something going on in the world as well. And at that time, there was a coup in Russia, and Finland gained independence.
So was it independence from Russia then?
Independence from it was
From
Russia,
Russia,
Soviet Union. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Soviet Russia.
1917. So the Reds had won already back then, and Lenin was very grateful because he had lived in Finland for a while and decided, well, you guys can go because I have problems to take care of.
Right on. Okay, so fast forwarding, were you guys in Washington D.C. when the concept of travel sauna came about, or was it through the Finnish consulate or the chamber in Washington?
Well, actually, we went there. There was a group of people and organizations that are established in the Washington D.C. and they came up with this idea that we need to celebrate Finland's independence in the U.S. as well. There's about 650,000 people in the U.S. that count themselves as Finns.
Right on.
In the sense,
650,000.
about 650,000 people.
How many of those are in Minnesota?
A good chunk. I don't know exactly how many.
Couple
Yeah,
100,000.
Minnesota, UP, Upper Peninsula, Michigan are the big concentrations.
And how many of those 200,000 married Minnesota girls?
I think at least 2.
No, 3. Kukkonen.
Yeah.
Kukkonen, okay. Well, he can't fit on the sauna
Right.
bench, so he's not invited tonight.
So anyway, so they come up with this idea that we need to celebrate, and that the groups around the U.S., there's Finns in Arizona, there's Finns in Seattle, there's Finns in North Carolina. We all want to celebrate this event, and the embassy wants to connect all that with something. They wanted to do that, so they came up with this idea that there needs to be something common, and they said, well, what's something that people recognize as Finnish? Can we name anything?
Well, I think we're sitting in it, right?
Right. So Finland doesn't have these brands like Volvo or things like that. They're not
Heineken, maybe.
Heineken. So immediately,
or the
one,
windmills. You go on a windmill tour.
right. So one thing that we associate to Finland, hopefully, is a sauna, not a sauna. So then they floated this idea out there, and took a couple of months and people started to get nervous as to, okay, well, so yeah, it's a good idea, but so who's going to do it? And then eventually in last February, March, Jouko and we decided, well, if nobody else is going to do it, we can do it.
It has to be done.
It has to be done. This is a Finnish ethos, attitude, wouldn't you say?
Yes, yeah, absolutely so.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, if nobody else can do it, that Risto and I will step up and go on a little road trip.
A little road trip. Now, for those of you listening on Sauna Times with Sauna Talk, in the show notes, I'll put the map that that the gentlemen here have put together of the tour. I mean, maybe this is another Finnish style where you guys have planned out a route. This is not a random, like, let's just take this sauna on the road. I mean, you guys have put a little bit of thought into the map. And so go ahead, Risto.
Well, we did put some thought in the map, and we came up with an idea that let's travel the country one way and not do too much of going back and forth. And then we learned that, well, the ambassador of Finland had already some plans, and we had to kind of go along with her plans. So this route that we are doing now kind of aligns with the original idea that the embassy kind of hashed out, that would be fun to go on a road trip, but
so the embassy has helped define some of the route. Is that right?
Well, absolutely. We are going to meet the ambassador here in Minnesota. She's going to come here January 12 to 15 to kick off the entire year, and then we are going to meet her on the way in different locations, and we'll have an opportunity to have her in the sauna.
Right. That was going to be my question, Risto, is on the 12th of 15, from the 12th to the 15th of January, do you have a sauna in mind for her?
We have a sauna. We have this thing called traveling sauna that we've been kind of building, and it's currently under construction, and it's going to be the centerpiece of this whole thing, and it's going to be actually, the kickoff is going to be at the Minnesota Orchestra building at the Plaza, January 14, 10 a.m., when the ambassador is going to
Christian baptize
the whole thing, kick things off.
Okay, so would this be the exact sauna that you'll be taking on the road?
This will be the exact sauna, and she's going to sit in it. She's going to be the first one to sit in there.
Nice. Will it be hot?
Hopefully. I mean, unless it's 50 below outside. We just need to buy a lot of wood in that case.
Okay. Well, super. So let me ask you guys a question, and I'll turn this over to Jouko. Is would you guys be as enthusiastic to take this sauna on the road if it was not wood burning, if it was some other source of heat, or how critical is the wood burning component, do you feel, to the authenticity of a traveling sauna and your mission?
I think actually it's more. We spent a lot of time talking about the specifics and working with Sauna Talk or Finleo out in Cokato, and a big shout out to those guys for being.
That's our shout out.
No better shout out to Keith Reisen and his guys out there than that.
Yeah, hats off to Mark and his brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they've been fantastic. Actually, that's where the sauna is being built. Mm-hmm. We saw some first pictures actually this morning.
Right on. Okay, so
the trailer.
Can I dive into that real quick? Just to interrupt you. So you've seen some first pictures. What are roughly? Do you know the dimensions of this traveling sauna roughly?
Yeah, the trailer is 18 by 8 feet.
Okay.
And about half of that is going to be the actual sauna.
Okay.
Little dressing room, little shower, and little deck.
Sweet.
Yeah,
this is great.
Absolutely fantastic.
Nice. So, do you have let's review back to the map. Okay, so I encourage those folks listening to go to Sauna Times and look for the post about the traveling sauna and check out the map as you guys think about this map and think about the United States and this travel. So back over to you, Jouko. Do you have any idea, maybe roughly, about how many saunas you'll be taking as you're on the road? Roughly.
I want to say about 50.
About 50. And is that about the number you're thinking, Risto?
Well, if we split it that he's 50 and I'm 50, then that makes 100, right?
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. So do you think that this sauna will be fired up 100 times as it travels across North America? Is that a fair?
Well,
fair
it's
number?
the 100th year of Finnish independence, so I think we are going to hit the number 100 exactly.
Okay, well, listen, I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing, and, I've been working real hard for a long time to wave the authentic sauna flag, the authentic Finnish sauna flag, on behalf of a lot of people, in North America, because you guys know as well as I do, it's a little bit of a challenge when we talk about authentic sauna, right? Wouldn't you say, about getting Americans into the real sauna?
Well, that's what people keep telling us, and I don't know if, I haven't had so many opportunities in the U.S. to take a sauna. I've had an opportunity to take a smoke sauna once in the U.S., and the regular sauna several times, but I don't know. The concept to me, I was born in Finland, so the concept to me is, I don't know, it should be very simple.
Yeah, it should be very simple. I could not agree more. And is this an authentic sauna?
It is. I mean, it's going to be wood-fired, and it's going to be...
The one you're sitting in right now?
Oh, this one, yeah. I mean, tell us about yours. I mean,
okay, I'm
gonna
gonna
stove.
Yeah, right on. I'll tell you all about it, but we're gonna stay. And I love the question, but I want to stay right on this because if we get too hot and go and hey, I got a great outdoor shower for us between rounds, but I don't want to lose our momentum to talk about what we're talking about here. And I do want to, on behalf of Sauna Times, I'd like to offer a gift, and I could tell you what it is or make it a surprise. How about I tell you what it is?
Why don't you tell us what it is?
Okay, well, I would like to present you guys, the traveling sauna, with a chalkboard, and this chalkboard you'll be able to and some chalk, and I'd like for you guys to keep score of the number of saunas. Sure. You just do the little check thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, 5, right? Okay. And my challenge for you guys, and I would like to offer all kinds of encouragement and assistance for you guys to get 100 chalk marks on that chalkboard. What do you think?
I think it's absolutely fantastic, and if we're short and we're in December in Washington, D.C., where the final celebrations are, you're going to have to come visit us there and make it an even 100.
All right, man. I like
that.
that. That is a deal. That is a deal. And I love these kind of commitments. And this is Sauna Talk. And I got to make a quick digression about what Sauna Talk is. And maybe you guys, as lifelong Finns, can relate to this, okay? So when we go about our days, we're busy, we're doing our work, we're driving, we're picking up kids from basketball, we're dealing with, the day-and-day dynamics of what it, of just trucking along. But when we get in the sauna and we get to relax a little bit, okay, things open up. Not just your pores, but your mind and concepts, right? And I would say that you just nailed one right there. Right there, Jouko, is like, and this is Sauna Talk.
Right.
And I would argue that we need more sauna talk. We need more of this kind of thinking where when you get on the sauna bench, things aren't always factual, and they can get a little conceptual.
And that's what I remember from the sauna in the past, in my hometown of 12,000 people, and we warm up the sauna every Saturday. And it's like, okay, it was a busy week, but then, you get in the sauna, you put the fire in there and you warm up the sauna, you get in there, you kind of a slow down.
Yeah, you slow down, and then you slow down, the mind opens up, and it isn't always like simple thinking. You can get into more conceptual thinking, is my point.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of your time and the way you want to have it.
Right on, right on.
Are Finnish jokes accepted on your show?
Yeah, and they could even see, the thing is, I can say shit, I can say whatever I want because this is Sauna Talk. So lay one on me.
So the
over to Jouko.
My favorite Finnish joke is that there were Saturday night, and there were 3 Finns sitting in the in the sauna, and the guy on the right, named Risto, said that it's hot in here. Goes about 10 minutes. The guy on the left, named Jouko, goes, yep. And about 10 minutes later, there's a guy in the middle, same Glenn, that if you guys don't shut up, I'm out of here.
That's it.
Although, so that just goes on the Finnish sort of being quiet and stoic and reflecting type personality. So
well, this is true, and it's hard for me because I don't have an ounce of Finnish blood in me. I'm Italian. I mean, I'm more Italian than anything, and this is tough. This is tough for me because I respect the solitude of sauna.
Yeah.
But it's hard to keep an Italian guy quiet.
Hey, that's why you have the show Sauna Talk.
That's right. I think it's right. I'm the ambassador of conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's there actually are. I've had a number of very important conversations with my family and my dad actually in the sauna. So that's just that's why it's called a joke, Glenn.
Well,
on the,
okay. But one thing I've learned in dealing with and getting to know Finns like as friends and stuff is I start to kind of maybe get an idea of how I can tell an outgoing Finn from a shy Finn. Do you know how you can do that?
I do, but I don't want to steal your thunder.
Well, you're being very Finnish.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, okay. So all the shy Finlanders I've come across, like they look at your feet while they're talking to you. But I've gotten to know a lot of really outgoing Finns, and they look at my feet while they're talking to me.
Exactly.
Well, okay. So for 25 years, like when you guys just started coming over to the United States, we have a parallel life in a way. I've been going up to Lake Vermilion in northeast Minnesota, right by Embarrass, Minnesota, which I think a lot of your constituents are familiar. And I got to know, it reminded me of my time in Scandinavia.
Right.
And quite bluntly, that's why I ended up in Minnesota. I'm from upstate New York originally, but I was so moved by the landscape and sauna and nature and lakes that I moved to Minnesota in 1988, bought an island, 1989, got to know a lot of Finns. Up north, including the maker, over to your question, Risto, about the sauna stove that you're so generously tossing water on the rocks, which I love. Yeah, anyway, this is made in Tower, Minnesota. The guy's a third-generation Finnish stove maker. It's the Kuma stove.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that you may have heard of?
Yep, we absolutely heard of it. So.
Yeah, and that's how that was a great introduction to North America sauna for me, is to find the Kuma stove, and I just immediately got attracted to the DIY ethos, the work ethic, and the hand craftsmanship involved in the stove, the Kuma stove. And I interviewed Daryl Lampa, the third generation. He's a tinkerer, he's a true Finlander in that sense of spending many winter days in his garage messing around with how wood burns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it does give a good löyly.
Yeah,
very good load.
Yeah, right on. And these rocks do you recognize these rocks, boys? You recognize those?
I have a friend who actually carried his sauna rocks from Finland. Nice. I don't think he can. I didn't carry these ones.
Did he put it in his carry-on luggage?
I don't know how, but he has a sauna, and he says that his rocks came from Finland, and I don't know if they came in on one trip or several trips. Yeah. I'd like to be the customs guy who actually opens up his.
Or if you ever saw that movie Shawshank Redemption, remember that one? Yeah, he puts them in his pocket and does a few every day, every trip. Yeah.
But there's actually, you have the right rocks are essential. You can't just use any rock, right?
Exactly.
You know
I
that.
know, exactly. Well said. And these rocks came from the shores of Lake Superior, and I think the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources may not approve of this harvest. But I gotta tell you, I'm doing it with full respect. And hey, have you guys heard the thing about you replace your sauna rocks? Have you ever heard any of that? Is there anything to that?
No.
I've heard of that, being necessary every 5, 10, 15 years, something like that. But then again, my dad has had the same sauna for 30 years, and it's still the original set of rocks on there.
Right. So that's an interesting thing, and so I do make a promise that these rocks will be returned to the exact spot where I harvest them on Lake Superior. That's my commitment to the natural resources of our wonderful state.
So you're just borrowing them?
I'm borrowing them. I'm seasoning them
for a good cause.
Yeah, I might add. I like that. That's great. That's great. Okay, so all right. I did have another question so this is one where I wanted to ask you guys. Is generally speaking, when you go into sauna, do you jump in the lake or take a shower before your first round generally, or is that just getting a little too technical?
I usually take a shower before I go in.
Yeah, and we could have done that. I was in such a hurry because I usually do that too.
Yeah,
and I like it.
It's a little uncomfortable to the skin if your skin is totally dry. Yeah, and especially if you go to a scorching hot sauna where you don't sweat.
Right on.
Your
Right.
temperature is probably about 170 degrees, which to me is perfect.
Yes, I
That
agree.
when you throw the water on the rocks, you
Yeah.
sweat. And
Yes.
you that way you provide the moisture.
Yeah, do you have a comment to that? Shower before sauna or after, Jouko?
I usually take it after, not
do?
before.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So it's not an equivocal thing.
He's wrong.
Well, tell us about the shower on the traveling sauna. Do you have that like engineered? I'm interested in that. Is there some science to it, or is that being handled by a third party?
I think as far as the Finleo guys are building
Yeah.
it,
Cool.
and we're just gonna hook up a garden hose
Yes.
on the outside, and then a
Yes.
garden hose for the gray water on the out,
Yep.
and figure out some way to dispose it. So
Yeah,
it's
okay.
very, very simple.
Yes, simple is
Yeah.
better, I find, especially as you'll see with our outdoor backyard shower that I've installed. It's a simple setup, just like you described, Jouko, where you have the garden hose, and I have, the nice thing is like if you've been working real hard and chopping wood during the day, you can turn the nozzle, because it's just a simple garden hose nozzle. You can turn it to jet.
Right. Yeah.
But I generally like the shower mode, and
Right.
and some of my softy friends like mist.
Right.
But I'm not a mist guy, are you? Yeah. Yeah, right on, right on. So this is cool. We're getting right into the thick of it. I wanted to talk about traveling sauna. I'm super excited for this project. You're going to get underway January 12th right here in Minneapolis with the...
Correct. The ambassador of Finland to the United States, Kirsti Kauppi, is coming to Minneapolis January 12th. There's a 3 days of events, and one of the things is the kicking off the sauna tour in the morning of the Saturday, January 14 at 10 a.m. in front of the orchestra hall. And the reason why we picked the orchestra hall is that probably all your listeners know that the musical director of the orchestra is a Finn called Osmo Vanska, and he's gonna go in the sauna as well.
Nice. That's exciting.
Actually, I have a question for both you and your listeners. So we're talking that as far as the actual christening ceremony, right?
Okay.
What should that be with?
Oh, wow. What do you mean? Like,
No, I mean it's not going to be like necessarily a champagne like you
Yeah.
traditionally would want
A big ship.
a big ship or something like that, and
Yeah.
a
Well,
bottle of Finlandia is maybe not the right appropriate.
not politically correct.
Yeah, or the
Unless,
appropriate 10
unless,
10
unless,
o'clock in the morning.
right on. Unless Finlandia wants to kick in $1,000 for help, or some sample product, right?
Right. So we're just it's one of the open things we're talking about. So if anybody has any ideas or thoughts, we'd welcome.
Yeah. You
Listener
could just
feedback,
give us a comment on Sauna Times and let us know your suggestion.
And we also might want to give the sauna a name. So if you have any ideas, the sauna doesn't have a name yet. So if you have a name that we could use, let us know.
Love that. I love that. Two challenges for those listening, and you can just jot it down right now. And when you get to a computer, very simple, just at the comments section on Sauna Times on this post, just shoot us your thoughts on that. What is the christening for the sauna on January 12th? And then if you have an idea for the sauna name for this traveling sauna, Risto and Jouko would love to hear from you, and I would as well. And any other comments? The cool thing about Sauna Times, just to toot my own horn on this, is we've really kind of built a community, built a tribe of people that understand what a true sauna is. And, I wrote this book on how to build your own sauna, and it's been super rewarding for me to help people. Like, I can start on the northwest tip, even up into Canada, and sweep all across North America. And there's a lot of folks out there that have built their own saunas, and I know there's a lot of folks that have built their own saunas that are going to be close to where you guys are going. So I could think of nothing better than you guys are hanging out in some town and some guy comes up and says, "Yeah, I heard your deal on Sauna Talk. I
Right.
built my sauna."
Well, that's good to hear, because like Jouko said, this sauna will be built by Saunatech, which is part of the Tulohelo companies, which is the largest sauna maker in the world, and their North American headquarters are in Cokato, Minnesota, about 40 miles west from the cities. But we also are supported by the North American Sauna Society and the Finnish Sauna Society. So we have some pretty high-level support here.
Yeah. We're going to get some plaques on the wall.
We actually have a plaque from the North American Sauna Society already. We are just waiting for the sauna to be built.
Right.
And then I mention that the Finnish embassy is kind of the instigator here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And back to Finnish Sauna Society. Have you been in touch with Jarmo Lehtona? I know I didn't say his name well, and I'm sorry for bashing it. I think he's the CEO, and I got to meet him a couple of years ago, and he sent me the link to your gig. So
okay.
I know that the loop is complete.
My contact is Risto.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, Ma.
Yeah, okay, Risto, isn't he the World Sauna Society or the World Sauna? I know Risto as well.
Yes.
I got to meet him at the same convention. And so that's great. I think that level of engagement is great with those organizations.
I think, we are very, very thrilled that, they are supporting us because, that to us, that tells that we are doing the right thing.
Yes. Couldn't have said it any better.
And we have to do it right.
Yeah, well, the challenge is there. I mean, that's why it was a leading question over to you, Jouko, about would you be taking this thing on the road if it wasn't a wood-burning sauna? And I think you gave me a very Finnish answer. You're very diplomatic with that one.
It would come with its own set of challenges.
Okay. But you got to admit, I mean, I'm leading you down this road. It's much. Imagine. Go ahead. You're going to say something.
I guess we were debating over electric or wood burning because we all know that like in Minnesota we are dealing with nature and you can't haul wood around, so that's an extra chore that we cannot just pack the trailer with wood from here and then take it across the country. But then again, we were thinking the electric sauna, most of the apartments and houses in Finland have an electric sauna nowadays. There's 1.5 million saunas in a country of 5.5 million people.
Yeah, right.
But
so there's more, and there's more saunas than cars.
There's more saunas than cars, and there's about as many saunas as there are families or households.
Yes.
But we were thinking then that would pose another challenge. Where do we get the power? And we thought, this is sustainable, independent.
Yes.
We can fire it up wherever we are, and that's how we decided to do the wood burning. And
and it is, and I'll take the bait this time, Glenn.
Okay.
It is the real sauna, the wood burning stove. So.
And it's a real sauna on two levels, is it not? I mean, one being the atmosphere, the feel, the flame, the connection to nature. But wouldn't you argue that the heat is different?
It is different, yeah.
And how would you say it's different?
I think it's a little bit softer, a little bit warmer. And not quite as hard as it comes out of the electric sauna.
Yeah, well summarized, and I agree with that. And I think that listeners, that have electric saunas in their house, I mean, we're not trying to say that's not great. That is a wonderful thing, and there are methods on an electric sauna to create the softness, the soft and the radiant heat of a wood. And I think it has to do with controlling it's about heating rocks. Ultimately, isn't it?
Yeah, the heat needs to come through the rocks. If it comes from the side, then it's dry air.
That's dry air. Yeah. And if it comes from the red coals, then it's like a toaster oven in your kitchen.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so we got that one figured out, right?
We do.
Okay, that's cool. Well, what do you guys want to ask, or what do you want to talk about here? Because this has been really wonderful. I think we really nailed. Okay, so back to the chronology. So after the ambassador takes off, leaves Minneapolis. We're talking January 15th. Osmo Vanska has gone back on stage. What happens to the sauna, and when does it officially go on the road?
Well, our first stop is Dallas, Texas. We go due south. We are working on stopping in Kansas, Missouri, on the way over. But the first big event is Dallas, Texas. Then it's Houston, Texas, and then we go to west. We do the West Coast in the spring. We come back to the Midwest in early May.
Yes.
To Minnesota, Upper Peninsula, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Chicago. And then in August, we head out east. We have August 11 to 13 near Detroit in a Finnish community called Wixom.
Nice.
Then we have Buffalo. And then we have Boston, New York, Atlanta, Florida. And like Jouko said, we end up in Washington, D.C., December 2nd.
Fantastic. As you're describing the United States and these cities that you'll be going to, it makes me start to think about, as it happens, have you guys had, and I don't want to put any pressure on you, but I'm not the best Facebook guy out there and social media and all that, yet I kind of see this interaction, like on the spot, sort of being in play. In other words, you're in Kansas City, you know. Is there a way, have you guys thought of a system, like in terms of communication, sort of on the spot to get the word out and stuff?
We do. We have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter page, we have Instagram, we have Snapchat, and then there's one more that I forget because I'm not a Facebook guy either. But we have a dream team doing that.
Oh, that's
and,
fantastic.
That is our vehicle to get you guys know where we are, where we are heading next, and for you guys to give a heads up that, okay, well, next week we are going to be in your town. We figured in these places where we go through, not counting the towns in between, let's say, Houston and Albuquerque or Albuquerque and Los Angeles, we're going to be meeting with 80 million people.
Right. I think that's a conservative estimate, but I think maybe 70 million will be a good number that you'll be able to get in the
Sure.
sauna.
And, you know, we want you to come and take a selfie and sing happy birthday to Finland.
Yeah.
It's going to be Finland's 100th birthday, and talk to us. You know,
Right
come
on.
and take a look at what we are doing.
Right on. And while we're right on the subject, let's say somebody listening here, and I use this hypothetical of Kansas City, Missouri, you know, wants to come out and see you and actually take a sauna. Can you give a quick little instruction on what they should be bringing or planning for, you know, as so they could sauna with you? Like, is there any formal instruction you'd have on that score?
Yeah, we are working with the local Finnish groups. So, you know, if you are interested, send us an email or text us or Facebook us or whatever. What is the means of your favorite getting in touch? And then we'll put you in contact with the local group that's organizing this stop.
Oh, I love that.
And then you can work with those people. There's different ways you can participate. And, you know, some locations you can actually go in the sauna. Some locations we are just going to be part of a street fair.
Okay, well said. All right, so just to make clear the expectations, as you look at the map of North America, United States, and you see the traveling sauna, if it's coming near your town, by all means, like, you're totally invited. It would be wonderful. The marching order or the direction would be reach out to the local Finnish community where you live, and they are hand-in-hand coordinating with these two guys here, and then you can play a part in your way.
Or you can reach out to us directly on email. It's info@travelingsauna.com, and we'd love to have a conversation on how do we make it work.
And I can speak for these two guys. They're very responsive on email. So if you want to get in touch with Jouko and Risto directly, that email address again
is info@travelingsauna.com.
I'll put a link in the show notes. And Risto?
And I'm thinking, like, after this show, don't expect us a rapid response. Sounds like, you know, there's a number of you guys out there. So
yeah, we got 70,000 listeners.
We might be flooded tomorrow morning. Sorry about that.
Yeah, right on. Okay, well, that's really awesome. You know, like, so tell me more about life for you guys in Minnesota. I mean, you guys are interesting in that I mean, I don't know how old you are, but we seem kind of same age. I'm probably a little older than you guys maybe or whatever, but have you reached the point where you've been in Minnesota longer in your life than you've been in Finland? And are you getting close to that age, if not?
I'm still more than 50% Finn in that measure.
Okay, how about you, Jouko?
Abroad, yes, but we did a little detour, spent some time out east.
Yes.
And a couple years in London type stuff. So
nice.
I'm still more non-Minnesota than Minnesota.
Okay, but you're getting closer every day.
You know, every day it's closer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's this is Sauna Talk. So give it to me straight. Like, do you like it here? What's better? What's not as good? I know the saunas are better in Finland. We got that established. But tell me about life. Like life for you. You know, life for you, Jouko, as it stands day to day. Is it better here, better there? I know there's advantages to both, but do you have a comment on that?
I don't know. Your sauna, Glenn, puts at least a fair amount of competition on all those Finnish saunas. So
Right.
I think officially you can now say that, you know, a Finn said that in your sauna. That's debatable.
Oh, good. I need my own chalkboard. There's a mark right there, and I appreciate that.
But no, I mean, life is busy. Married with two teenagers, so living out in the western suburbs. So
Right.
driving
Okay.
a lot, doing
Okay,
kid
so
stuff, whatever.
let me
so.
dive into that question then. Let's just say your life was transported to Finland. Okay, would it be as busy?
Probably not. I mean, especially if we lived right in the Helsinki area. just with all the public transportation options, etc., that the kids are a little bit more self-sufficient.
And how old are your kids now?
They're 15 and 13.
Okay, so this is a perfect thing. Our kids are now 17 and 21, and we've graduated from the taxi driver stage, which you are in the thick of. So to your point, public transport would change that game a bit, wouldn't it?
Right, or next August when hopefully our daughter gets her driver's license.
Right. Welcome to America, honey.
Exactly.
Okay, beyond the public transport, give it and Risto, raise your hand if you want to chime in on this one. I'm curious about this, like life, and I'll tell you why. Because my wife and I will be empty nesting next year, and I want to get back overseas to Europe. You mentioned London. I lived in London for a while. I got to get back to Scandinavia. I mean, I've been doing this stuff in America now, sauna, and it's just I want to go to the roots, It's like a yoga instructor wanting to go to India,
Right, absolutely.
So anyhow, I'm very curious. Go ahead, Risto.
Well, so I guess my take on that is I'm just actually reading Anu Partanen's book, The Nordic Theory of Love. And I think she writes pretty well that I have a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old. And there's a lot of things in Finland that are kind of thought out for you in terms of, healthcare, school, retirement. Okay, well, you pay those in taxes ahead of time that you don't need to worry about that. And kind of chiming in what Jouko said, that life is kind of hectic. Yeah. Over here, I mean, everything is tied to a job. If you have a job, you have healthcare. If you don't have a job, you worry about stuff that I don't know if you really need to worry about.
Good point, right. And
that may be socialist talk, but I'm finished.
You're right on. No, well said. And, it's very logical that there's that much more pressure on your job when your job is the source for income to pay for healthcare. I mean, these are linear connections.
And it may not be just, that you daily worry about it, but, those percolating in the back of your head all the time. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I think there is a little difference in life. I enjoy being in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. We could have moved back to Finland, but there's lots of benefits to being in here. But that kind of an extra pressure from being a parent is. Yes. I guess you're in a good situation where your kids are almost out of the nest.
Well, it's like we're not waving goodbye to them and looking them in the rearview mirror yet, but we understand that our mission. You got to let go.
And it's easier to let go maybe in Finland where, you know that their future is secured, that they don't have to find a right job right away to start saving for what's coming up in 40 years.
Good points, yes. So this house, let's just talk kind of weird here for a second. Now, you guys see my backyard. It's a 1930s home. It's about, I don't know, maybe it's between 1,500, say close to 2,000 square feet. 2-car garage. You got to have cars and stuff. So what would be like a comparable middle class get up in Finland? Would it be a similar house? Would you say the housing is more generous here in Minnesota? And is that something that's better here than in Finland, housing?
Well, in Finland it's like Europe, that the cities are more dense, and like Jouko mentioned, that the public transportation. A lot of people live in apartment buildings. Mm-hmm. A lot of people live in townhomes. Mm-hmm. And the ones who live on homes like you have, that on your own lot, then that's common, mm-hmm. but it's probably less common as over here. So the cities seem to be more concentrated, and that way you can also arrange for the services easier. I understand over here in Minnesota. Well, we tend to spread out, and from me to Jouko is 45 miles. I drive an electric car. In the winter, I have to plug it in to be able to go back home.
Wow. So that really summarizes it well. Here, the cities are more spread out. Minneapolis, St. Paul, it's a top 20 city in the United States. So, and we have a lot of land. So, and there's this attitude that's been since post World War II about owning your own home and pushing out and having your own backyard. It's this big drive in our country, I would say.
And I'm not saying that I don't like to own my own home. I have about same size home in St. Paul, about 1,500 square feet. It's on our own lot. We own the house. Just paid off the mortgage here, but it's nice to have a backyard. But thinking about the 2-3 million people in the Twin Cities. Mm-hmm. From east to west, it's 40 miles. From north to south, it's 40 miles.
Yeah, you could get to Espoo and back by then, right?
You can get out of the Circle Road 3 where the countryside starts in Helsinki.
Right, and that's when from my time in Europe, and it doesn't matter if it's just Finland, but from my time over there, what I love is the practicality of, you mentioned about apartment living, condo living. You got that going on, and you're living in a smaller square foot setup, and that's all wonderful. But what's really cool is people that have that setup. A lot of them have country homes, lake cabins, and they can take public transport to the village and get picked up or ride a bike, and then there they are. That's their nature. Yeah?
That is absolutely true. That although it's there's the Finland isn't doing so well, so in Finland they are cutting the services, but you can still get from one place to another with no problem.
Right, public transport.
Need some schedule.
Guys, I'm gonna take a little shower.
Okay,
I'm on American style. Yeah, okay, sounds good.
All right.
This show is brought to you by Dean's Kombucha. Fermented in specially charred oak barrels and utilizing whole fruits and herbs for flavoring, Dean's Kombucha is crisp, light, and full of probiotics, enzymes, and acids for your health and vitality. It's a great post-workout beverage and great for post-sauna. If you're in Minneapolis, you can enjoy Dean's on tap at East Lake Craft Brewery, Midtown Global Market, the Wedge Table, Nicollet, and Quixotic Coffee in St. Paul. But here's the thing, kombucha and sauna are tied in, real tight. It goes way back, generations, centuries. Okay, well, we're back. We finished round one, and we just had a beer in the changing room. And we decided that, Sauna Talk is a podcast that is most often recorded in the hot room, in the sauna. And so we're going to stay to that spirit. So we're right back where we started, and everybody assumed the same position. I got right to my left here, I got Jouko, and right to my right, I got Risto. And we had a beer, local Minnesota beer, and we got talking about the sauna, the traveling sauna. We got talking about 612 Sauna Society and this rising sauna tide that's lifting a lot of boats, a lot of cool things happening. And Risto, you mentioned something like do you have a thought that maybe these saunas could get together?
Yeah, but before we go there, Jouko and I, we decided that for the rest of the podcast, we are gonna do only in Finnish. So I'm gonna switch right now.
Well, switch it up, man.
Eli loppuohjelmasta tulee pelkällä suomen kielellä, ja kaikki, jotka ymmärtää suomea, niin ei muuta kuin shout out tälle Glennille. Glennille siellä saunatimes.com-sivustolla, että näin toimii oikea suomalainen sauna.
I couldn't have said that any better myself. And Jouko, on that score, you got anything to say?
Joo, ihan samaa mieltä Riston kanssa, että kyllä tämä suomalainen pitää jatkaa. Ja suomalaisille kuuntelijoille, että on tämä kyllä helvetin hyvä sauna.
Well, I like the sauna too. Oh, guys, you're killing me. That's great. Sauna is becoming a bigger deal in North America. I was explaining between rounds about the ebook, and it's such a great thing when people start building these in their backyards, and they do it the right way, and we got talking about health club saunas and the compromise that can be had. But when you have a real sauna, it's different. I mean, tell me an analogy that you can think of about a real sauna versus these compromised saunas. Anything, like a good car and a bad car? I mean, there's probably a better analogy to it.
No, I actually remember being here as an exchange student, going some of those hotel saunas, and actually sneaking in a little cup of water and throwing on there just because, And then I actually got in trouble, got in a major argument with like the hotel manager that you can't do it. There's a risk of electrocution.
Did you have a bathing suit on or not?
It was a public sauna, so yes.
Okay.
I had to do that. Otherwise, I think I would have been at the local police station.
I heard this crazy story of a Finn. I think it was a Finn. I'd like to say it was a Finlander in a hotel sauna, and he's with his son, and they're both nuded up in the hotel sauna because in Europe, well, Germany, being naked in a sauna is the thing you do, and Denmark, Sweden, certainly in all of Scandinavia, it's you don't wear a suit even in sauna. Well, in all saunas, is that right?
Yeah, no, in mixed company, I've actually been some of those a sauna in Switzerland, where I walked in there into the sauna with my dad and my brother. And, we had our towels and stuff on, and opened the door, and there was a group of naked women laying there. Right. We slammed the doors, go back to the hotel lobby. It's
did you take a cold shower?
No, we asked where's the men's sauna? We walked in. I was no, there's only one sauna. I was then we had to have a little powwow on what do we do.
Yeah. So what did you do?
We actually ended up going in there and trying to look the other way.
Yeah. Okay. So this that's funny. So that's interesting because this is a generality. I don't know if it's true or not. Risto like that one. That's good. But in Finland, Sweden, and stuff, it's they call that men's turn, right? Like that wonderful movie, right? That where that's the they call in the French is de rigueur, that's how it is. And there's the men's turn for sauna, and then there's the women's turn for sauna, but it seems like on the continent, like you mentioned, Switzerland, Germany, it's an integrated experience in the hot room. Co-ed in the nudity thing is no big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's at least for us, sort of shy Finns, that was quite a bit.
Well, you try being a shy American.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the American thing is, and this is, I think, part of the 612 Sauna Society, what they're going to, actually, it's pretty much most all Americans that, will be taking saunas, and the bathing suit thing is just the way it's done. Is that weird for you guys, like the sauna with a bathing suit or not?
I don't think so. I think, I'm thinking that if you want to enjoy the sauna experience, then, well, it's fine. If you want to wear a bathing suit and you are in a group of people, I think that's okay. Yeah. I wouldn't tell you that, okay, well, you can't do that. I'd rather have you have the experience than walk away and thinking, well, I'm not doing it the right way.
Right on. I got a couple rapid fire questions. Do you mind if I throw them at you guys?
You go.
Yeah, just for fun here. So, if you could take a sauna with anybody in the world, like anyone, like dead or alive, past, present, future, who would you choose?
Risto. Let me go first. Because you've been going first all night, so it's my turn.
Over to you.
Yeah. So I think I think I would choose Urho Kekkonen, who is the former Finnish president from 1956 to 1982, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he basically conducted most of his foreign policy, especially with the Soviet leaders, whether it's Khrushchev or Brezhnev in the sauna, and basically he always took my spot in this sauna, and they had a little way, and they started talking about the tricky questions, and he would actually put his leg to block the Soviet leader from leaving, and then would start stalling until he got his way. And then at least so the story goes, and when he got his way of detente or Finland maintaining things, then he let the Soviet leader away. So yes. I think it's a pretty big part in Finnish folklore. So I would like to experience that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's such a neat story. So Risto.
Well, I wanted to answer the question too before Jouko butted in. Excuse me for the phrase, but first came to my mind is some Einstein or Gandhi or some noble figure. But I think we just had an election, and I would like to get Mr. Donald Trump in the sauna and see what he's made of.
And would you apply much the same principle about keeping your leg in place so he couldn't leave the hot room?
No, I just would like to see after he comes out that is he still full of the hot talk that he is.
What is going to tweet about the experience?
Yeah. So Risto, grab that thing right there. See that?
This thing?
This is a gift right there. Yeah, where your hand was.
This one.
Yeah, this was a gift
Ooh.
from Jarmo from the Finnish Sauna Society. You recognize this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a kuppa.
Okay, yeah, and I just tell you, I tell you, to get this from him was just such a cool thing, and I think of him all the time. Also from Jarmo was this. You ever seen this little?
Oh yeah. The sauna tantu.
Sauna Tantu, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so there's little reminders for me of the Finnish Sauna Society and Jarmo Lehtana. Is that how would you say his last name?
Hei, toiseen suuntaan, Risto.
Oh, I see. Jouko says I don't know how to use this thing.
You must be an
It's the other
amateur.
way.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Looks like a traditional sausage.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's
Yeah.
like some sort of sausage making
Yeah.
machine. Yeah. So what we're talking about here, folks, is this really cool like assistance that you have to pour water on the sauna rocks with this long-handled water pouring mechanism. A very like well-engineered handled water pouring thing. So
You know, I have to admit that I've never seen one of those before.
yeah,
That's actually pretty cool.
I was told this is for pros.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. All right, so how about you, Risto? Like, back to that question, and who would you with Trump? Like, so what would you like to ask Trump on the sauna bench?
I don't know if I would really ask him anything. I would just have him sit in here for a while and think about stuff and see what once he's done, when he comes out, if he's still, if his thoughts are still the same.
Yeah, right on. Because that's true about sauna. I think, it's a very metaphorical thing, but, you shed your clothes, you shed your, all of the responsibilities of your day. You get to just relax and chill out. Time is not as critical, So I think what that does is it fosters an environment where the true nature of a person reveals himself.
Yeah, I think so. That it's an opportunity for you to kind of sit down and take it easy for a while. You close the door and don't let the hot air out. And
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Close the door.
yeah,
That's probably the one important sauna rule. Close the door. Yeah, so like when you guys think about a sauna session, like from the morning you wake up and you say, I'm in a sauna today, from that moment, all the way through your day to when you go to sauna and you start your sauna round and you step in and then you do your rounds and stuff. And even when you're done, like that whole thing, that whole experience from the thinking, the doing, and the post, what part of that sauna session, if you had to pick one, stands out to you most as your favorite?
I'd have to say the first lulu.
Yeah.
When you sit on the bench, especially if you've been outside skiing or other stuff, you get in there, you're still a little bit chilled, whatever, get on there, and then you get the first wave of heat. There's just nothing like it.
Yeah, it's such a familiar, universal feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just almost undescribable.
Risto, same question.
Well, I want to say that that feeling of what I've been describing, that in the sauna you relax and kind of slow down. For me, it carries over when I'm done. That when I towel up and I'm ready to head it back in, then I'm not in a rush anymore.
I like that. I can relate to that moment, when the sauna session is complete and you're toweled off, and I just find this like magical moment of equilibrium, for lack of a better term for it. It's everything seems humming and mellow, doesn't it?
Right. That's the feeling that it's not okay. Well, life is good, and might be cold outside, but so be it. And there's gonna be another day, and let's try it again.
Right. Well done. What do you? Okay, you guys are Finns. You've been taking saunas your whole life. What for listeners maybe not as ingrained to sauna as much, as you guys and stuff. What do you think is the most misunderstood thing about sauna? especially maybe here in America, United States, where people haven't grown up with you guys? What's most misunderstood or misconception, maybe? Risto.
Oh, I get to start now. Well, I think it is I think for individuals, private people, I think, everybody knows if they like it or they don't like it, but then that guidance that Jouko got from the proprietor, that if it's in a public place that they dictate you how to do it, to me it's like, it's how you want to do it. And, if you want to throw water on the rocks, go ahead. If you don't want to throw the water on the rocks, you don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not to interrupt, and forgive me, do you have anything more on that?
Nope.
Yeah, if I could summarize that, I would say that maybe what you think is most misunderstood is that there is a very specific process to sauna, and there isn't one. It's what feels good and what is right for you.
Well, exactly. Yes, that I think it's up to you how you want to experience it, and some people like rap music, some people like classical music. The same with the sauna. Some people like it hot, some people like it not so hot.
Yeah.
It's all okay. But
right. Well done. Jouko.
I don't know. Maybe I just add to that as far as it's okay for people to like what they like, and if they like the dry age sauna in the in the health club or whatever, maybe part of that is just education, that you like it because you're used to it or you don't know any better. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things we hope to solve with the traveling sauna, is get folks more educated that, okay, there might be, people's one way of taking a sauna, and not that there's, anything wrong with that, but there's much other ways and more beneficial ways that you can enjoy a sauna.
Right on. Well said. So this question is a loaded question, and it's a question that is so appropriate for this wonderful project that you guys are undertaking. Is if you could take a mobile sauna anywhere,
like we are,
like you are, where would you choose? So what a loaded, what a simple
the wall is built.
Yeah. So this question normally is very abstract.
Right.
And I wrote this question for guests to Sauna Talk to help foster Sauna Talk. In other words, the concept of building a mobile sauna and taking it anywhere you want to go is generally considered very abstract Sauna Talk thinking. But here we're living it, and you guys are going to be doing it. And so this is my question for you. So maybe I need to rephrase the question: is where on the sauna tour are you most looking forward to taking a sauna? And it could be not necessarily a city or a state or a place, but even more specifically, like something, it could be part of the nature of where you're going, or part of a village within your tour. Is there anything that comes to mind of where you'd like to bring this mobile sauna, and the sauna that you're looking forward to most? We'll go right over here to Jouko.
I mean, I think to some extent, our sauna tour is just statewide or U.S. wide. So with a place like Antarctica, to see that, what does a sauna do for a, and when it's 100 below outside, well, how would it feel as far as like 300-degree Fahrenheit difference? But I still think, as far as I've never been there, so it's a bit of a hypothetical. So my final answer is the bottom of Grand Canyon.
Okay.
So, just looking up at those, the hills, whatever. Although, with a nod to Keith and Mark Reisenen again, that if we actually end up there, we might be calling them for another sauna. We need a new one.
The sauna, you and the sauna may end up at the bottom of the Grand
Right.
Canyon, but how you get it out is a different question.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. But I love that answer. Because we'll go right over to Risto's answer. Same question. Mobile sauna anywhere. Where would you like to bring it and have a sauna?
Well, I think I'm going to be the traditional one on this one. To me, a sauna and a lake belong together. So, I would take it to a lake. if you have a lake,
Okay.
put your sauna there, and
So
that's heaven.
You have very realistic expectations to this question. Nothing elaborate, just a lake.
Just a lake.
God, that's a beautiful answer. But this is so beautiful because both of your answers reflect to me, this is the part of the leading question is you can bring a mobile sauna anywhere, right? And, nobody has said Times Square. Pretty much everybody that answers this question talks about nature.
Right.
And this is
right.
this is the element of sauna that I want to bring into the forefront is whether you're at the bottom of the Grand Canyon or by a lake, sauna it just makes nature pop, doesn't it?
Right. That it does. I think it's just just going to be a great tour for us. Although I would like to offer the following observation. On the last couple answers that I picked the desert, Risto picks a lake, he picks Donald Trump, I pick Urho Kekkonen. So imagine the two of us doing 12,000 miles, in a pickup.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a boring tour.
No, you guys are hitting the spectrum. Right, very good. That's good.
I think I'm going to need my own steering wheel.
Yeah, whether it works or not. That's pretty good. Well, let's see. Was there another question on the rapid fire? I got 4 of them. I thought I had 5. And now I'm putting myself on the spot. Make one up? Okay. So maybe this one we could make a joke for, but like what, or it could be a serious one is like you guys are investing a fair amount of time. Like if you had to guess roughly how many nights away from home for each of you on this, and what percent of the time will you be overlapping, together? Let's start with that. On this sauna tour all over United States, first of all, how many nights is this event, do you think? And how many will you be together versus separate?
Good question.
Or I don't mean to put you on the spot. If it's a little loose, it's a little loose,
I think
right?
it'll be about 120 nights on the road, and then we are doing some of the segments together, and then some of them we are planning to do separate. So I would say that probably it's going to be 50-50. There are segments where we are driving alone and moving from one place to another. But then there are locations where we are punched up together that we have 2 events back to back on a weekend. So we wanna be there and available.
I like that. I think that'll be a great. I can speak from a guy who had a mobile sauna and brought it around. Having a partner in crime is a wonderful thing, and being able to do it solo and in conjunction with the Finnish communities, that you'll be interacting with, has its own reward too. So, just roughly speaking, I commend you for that. I think it's a great balance between you guys not getting tired of each other and you guys enjoying each other's company. Well done. Yeah, so you like those numbers? About 120 nights is the total project? Does that seem about right?
Yeah, no, I think that makes about sense. And Risto and I have known each other for about 8 years now, so we'll be we get along fabulously. So
right. Well, you do now.
We do now, and so when he calls for you from the Grand Canyon saying, "Glenn, can you pick me up?"
All right, I'm your wingman. Call me in.
Yeah, I guess staying on the topic, if there's anybody out there with your 70,000 listeners, who owns a lodging business, then we'd be happy to hear from you. If you want to sponsor the tour,
yes,
let us know.
Well, I think, yes, right on. And to that point, it's, I don't know if you guys have thought a lot about, hotels or where you're going to sleep and all that, but what a cool thing it would be to bring the sauna to like more of nature type locations on the tour, so that, you can sauna as part of the natural surroundings of a resort. Is that a little bit of where you're going?
Well, I guess that brings to mind that we can go to campsites and stuff that the state parks and national parks. So that's not out of the question. That we've been thinking of. We want to maybe stay indoors for most of the trip, but I like to go to Boundary Waters too, but I don't think I'm going to take in the sauna with me when I go there.
It's interesting you say that, because the answer to the question, if you could have a mobile sauna and bring it anywhere, where would you choose? I had a guest say the Boundary Waters, and I thought, well, that's kind of funny. But anyway, that is kind of profound in a way that you could be in complete nature and have a decent sauna. Be kind of fun.
Well, I have friends who go up to Boundary Waters and then they have a tent sauna, and then they heat the rocks and they sauna in the tent. So I mean, it's doable and you can do it.
That's right. It's very doable. And nothing better. I mean, anybody listening that has been in camping, been in the Boundary Waters, very rarely do you get a stretch of weather where everything's perfect all the time. I mean, when you're cold and you're wet and you're, and you're
must be an exception.
Yeah. You got great weather. Right?
I've got great weather every time I've been up there.
Oh, good for you. How about the bugs?
They don't bother me.
No, because you're Finnish.
Yeah. That's right. You're usually tired enough in the evening that you go into and sleep it off when the bugs come out.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Any final words, boys? This is great to have you over to the sauna here in South Minneapolis. Sauna Talk.
No, I mean, thank you again for the invite. It's been a very pleasant sauna and great company. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. So thank you, Glenn.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's so great to have you guys. I love the kindred spirit. I love what you guys are up to. Risto, any final words?
Yeah, sure. I want to thank you too, Glenn. It's been a great experience, and you guys out there, look us up on Facebook, Twitter, all these things, Instagram, social media. Look up Traveling Sauna 1L, and give us a shout out.
Traveling Sauna 1L. Again, I'll have links in the show notes, and I encourage you guys to reach out, and if hopefully this mobile sauna, this traveling sauna will be by your town, and you'll get to come by and see what an authentic Finnish sauna will be like in your town.